Hello, it's me again. Hello, is it me you're looking for? I'm back again. Hello, y'all. Hello, H. Davis. Oh, you number one twice in a row. Hello, Dawn Emery and Lady Q. Thank you for being here. Amos Liz, hello. Yes, I remember this too. This is wild, isn't it? Yeah, I was working on this last night. I'm like, woohoo, let's do this one. Let's do it. All these hoaxes going around here. You know what I'm saying, man? So I thought I'd bring out this one because I think people forget. I think sometimes they forget. Hello, Janice. Hi, beautiful Janice. So, yeah, I think people kind of, they just kind of forget what's going on and what's happening out there in the world or what has happened because sometimes out of sight, out of mind, right? So again, today's September 25th, 2025, and we are going to talk about it. Is today the 25th or the 26th? I think today's the 26th. I think I'm behind today. Yeah, today's the 26th. The 26th, man. I don't want to confuse y'all. I'm like, what? Yeah, I don't want to confuse y'all. It's the 26th, y'all. Lord, it's really passing by. So hello, everyone. Welcome in. So y'all remember this story or this hoax? This had the whole world on edge. Hey, Joanne. Hello, welcome. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Welcome in, welcome in. Everybody come on in, get your spots. Going once, going twice. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, Bama Cat. I know. I don't know why. I think maybe I said that on my other live too. I don't know why I thought it was the 25th all day, but it is the 26th. It absolutely is the 26th. My days are starting to jumble together. They really are. So I didn't mean to confuse y'all on that. It is the 26th of September. Dang, September passed by quick. But anyway, do y'all remember this story? Now, these are older pictures. Of course, nobody, I don't think, unless they're family or good friends, would know who they are. But it don't really matter. They put themselves out in public, didn't they? Yes, they did. Too bad I couldn't get the dad on there. He was the mastermind of it all, I believe. But anyway, it is what it is. I wanted to put them up here. And hoaxes do happen, y'all. Hoaxes do happen. Some may not remember, but it had the world on edge watching TV. Like, what in the world? So this family right here, they claimed their son floated away. Y'all seen that big old looking UFO thing on my thumbnail? That was the actual thing they made. What? Look, I guess people wanted to be inventors and all that kind of stuff back then. But anyway, that was the real actual thing. And so they claimed that their son, here they are exploiting and using their son. This is just my opinion, still my opinion to this day. Had floated away in this balloon. And it was on live TV, y'all. Everywhere back in the day. This was like in 2009. So the little boy was actually hiding in the attic, in a box in an attic. And he stayed up there as all heck was breaking loose. All news media was going cray-cray on TV. You'd have thought it was the end of the world. Well, if a child would have been in that balloon, it might have been. Right? Because everybody was hoping for the best outcome for that baby. But no, this was planned. So y'all remember this hoax, okay? And this was called He's always been called the balloon boy. He don't like that now. We come to find out, but that's how they know this hoax. It's went down in history. It's one of the main, probably one of 5 hoaxes that's ever been played, which I'm sure Rebecca and Jake will go down in Emmanuel's case going, Ola. I'm sure that'll be one up there too. They'll make room for number 6. But as we remember this, the balloon boy, it happened actually on October 15th, 2009. And it happened, some of you may even live there, it happened in Fort Colorado. God, I can only imagine how crazy it was at that time in Colorado. I can just imagine, okay? It was Richard Heaney, I believe that's how you say his name, that's how I remember it, Richard Heaney, and his wife. They reported their 6-year-old son, Falcon, that they had made this homemade helium balloon thing. Hold on just a minute. Hold on a second. That's the phone ringing. Hold on. Sorry. Okay, so they had claimed that their 6-year-old son, Falcon, climbed into this homemade helium balloon thing that they made and that they was trying to rig up. Hey, Terry, happy Friday. And it floated away, just like some kind of outer space style UFO, right? Woohoo! Ding, 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 ding. Just saying. The UFO, like silver balloon, took off. And then guess what? News and helicopters began following it live on TV. How in the world they didn't think anyone would find out that this right here was a hoax is beyond me. I don't know. But everyone watched. They thought they was in this, that their son was in this balloon, right? Which was all a lie. The helicopter chased it all on live TV, and the police chasing it. The police chasing a balloon. The police chasing a balloon. There was a police chase. It was chasing the balloon. That made history, y'all. For hours and hours, and millions of people watched around the world. They were very anxious, right? The drifting balloon across the skies, the Colorado skies, all the things. It was wild and it was scary. Schools were on lockdown. They even had the schools on lockdown, honey. They didn't know if the popo was going to go show some triggers to the balloon. No, they wouldn't have did that. I'm just making light of it because it was a child in it. They wouldn't have did that. They were on a police chase with a balloon, for God's sakes, in the air. In the air, okay? So the schools were on lockdown. I don't know why, because nobody wasn't missing. Lady Q, I'm in a mood today. I mean, why would the schools be on lockdown? Seriously. I don't know. But anyway, did they think it was going to drop and go boop and blow their school up? I don't know, honey. I don't know. But search and rescue teams came, the FAA and even the National Guards were mobilized. The people, they feared the boy could fall out of the balloon to his death. He was only 6 years old. And they thought, oh, he's going to look over, he's going to fall out. We don't want to scare him, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. We going to get to that, Bama Cat. We sure are, honey. We sure are. I got something to show y'all. Yeah. So people feared the boy could fall to his death from that balloon. I mean, hey, think about being in a hot air balloon. By the way, I'm scared of heights, but I always wanted to ride a hot air balloon ever since I've been a little girl. Make that make sense. Some things in this world you just can't make sense. But if you think about riding a hot air balloon and leaning over and falling out, that's what they was scared would happen to this little boy that never was in there because it was a hoax. Okay? It was a hoax. So CNN, Fox, and every single major outlet was on this live. They followed this live. And they followed this balloon, and they chased it. And they chased they chased everywhere it went. So, do you have any idea the resources, the time, the money, and all the things that this hoax cost? Then, then the balloon landed, honey. It landed. Ooh, pew, pew. Guess what? Nobody fell out. Nobody fell out. The balloon landed. She landed, honey. The balloon landed. Wonder if they named that balloon. Yeah, my fear too. Everybody's fear, Bama Cat. Exactly. And they thought, when the balloon hit, Janice, stop. They thought when the balloon hit, of course it would hurt the little boy, But no shots were fired. No shots were fired. It just ran out of air, I guess. I guess it just ran out of air. No pun intended. No pun intended, y'all. The balloon ran out of air. Yeah, we got to have a light one this morning, okay? The balloon ran out of air because it's all good. It's all good in the hood. It's all good in Colorado's hood. It's all good with all the things, honey, because the little boy's fine. So it's all good. So we can make light of it. That happened in 2009. We're in 2025. So it's all good. But after the balloon landed, it was empty. But people started to panic, honey. Well, you mean a helicopter didn't see him fall out? I'm just saying, oh my God, how was it empty? Lord. And they still didn't catch on. It was empty. Empty. Now we got an invisible child who does magic, he turned into a bird or something and flew away, I guess. I don't know. I guess that's what the people in the world was thinking. Well, where did he go? We were all watching it with our own eyes. We didn't see him fall out. Look, if you couldn't tell something was wrong, I don't know what to tell you. But guess what? It was a miracle, honey. It was a miracle, Lord. How Jesus, hallelujah. It was a miracle, right? Later, this little boy's named the Balloon Boy. He don't like being called the Balloon Boy. His name is Falcon, okay? So his name is Falcon. Later on, Falcon was found safe, honey. He was at home, hiding in the attic, in the garage. I don't think he was hiding on his own, though. I really don't. So, suspicion kind of grew a little bit. People started to wise up a little bit, kind of like the Ola, kind of like that. But why the heck? People was wondering, didn't the parents check the house? Why didn't the parents check the house? I mean, really? It was just chaos. It was chaos everywhere. So that same night, the family appeared on CNN's Larry King. Y'all remember Larry King, honey? He's gone under 6 foot, but everybody loved Larry King. Okay, well, we're gonna watch a little clip on Larry King, but it's somebody else standing in for Larry King that night, evidently. But it got interesting. It did get interesting because when asked, you can't make this up, because when asked why the little boy, why he hadn't come out, Falcon, the balloon boy, the little boy, out of the mouths of babes, right? He says, "You guys said we did this for the show." We did this for the show, you guys said. He was talking to his parents. Busted. Whoops. Whoops. Uh-oh. Out of the mouths of babes. See, them kids be telling the truth, honey. Them kids be telling the truth. All on national TV and everything, right? So that sparked outrage. And it confirmed the people that did have suspicions. It confirmed their suspicions. That's all they needed to hear. And back then, people did listen to their kids, right? So that's all they needed to hear. They knew that the incident was staged. They knew it was staged. They knew it was a fraud. They knew it was a hoax. They knew all of that. They knew that. Now, I don't know what happened. We're gonna watch this together in just a minute. But I'm glad it was a hoax, thank God. And I'm glad someone also listened to the child to know that it was a hoax. And I'm glad someone also believed the child. They heard loud and clear. They heard very loud and clear. Authorities, they determined it was a publicity stunt by Richard Heaney. Because Richard, there's not many words for Richard, a reality TV hopeful star. That's what he wanted to be. He wanted fame, honey. Well, he got a little bit of fame, maybe infamous, but he wanted to be a reality TV hopeful. And that's way back before reality TV really came to light, right? He previously, now listen to this, y'all. Listen to Smiley closely, okay? He had recently actually appeared on Wife Swap. Hey, y'all. Hey, didn't Molly appear on that show? Just asking. Just asking. Just asking. Janice said, laughing. I think Molly did appear on that, but I'm not sure. Oh, Molly. I wonder if Molly and him knew each other. Maybe they got to swap with each other. Maybe they swapped each other's husbands and wives. I don't know. Lord have mercy. Just the thought of that. Ugh, I don't know. But nonetheless, Richard, Richard, Dick for short for Dick. Richard. Okay, Richard was sentenced to 90 days in jail. He got 30 behind bars and 60 on work release. Oh, you know the go lightly. Lady Q, stop that. Just go lightly on Smiley, okay? Y'all, I'm about to choke. You need to stop. Stay with the program. Stay with the program. Janice knows what I'm talking about. Janice got it. Janice got it. I see. I thought she did, Mohawk's mom. See, I wasn't crazy. Okay, then. Molly Golightly was on wife swap. I wasn't lying about that. See, I thought so. I thought so. Wonder if they knew each other. Lord have mercy, honey. But anyway, his real wife, she only got 20 days. Dang, that just don't seem fair to me. Why did he get more time than her? She knew exactly what was going on. Janice said, I want to see that one. There's some video we done seen out there that was kind of cray-cray, but okay. They were ordered, though, to pay $36,000 in restitution for the costly rescue, right? Well, that did cost both of them a pretty penny. It did cost both of them a pretty penny. So, I don't know. The thing was, if it was 2025, if it would have been this year, it would have been a whole lot more than $36,000. I can tell you that. It would have cost them an arm and a leg and probably two of their children, to be honest with you. I mean, they closed down airports. They had helicopters going and all the stuff, so all that. The Hennies reportedly said they hoped the stunt would lead to a reality TV show and fame. And instead, they became infamous. One of the most notorious modern hoax families ever. And it cost them a pretty penny. That's the way the ball bounces. The ball bounces that way when you try to exploit your kid. I'm just saying, honey. Shame on you both. Shame on you both. Both. Now listen, folks. The Balloon Boy hoax is now thought as a case study. I want y'all to listen to Smiley, okay? It's thought as a case study in media gullibility, that is, the dangers and of all that, socialism and all that, and the power of live television to magnify a false story. Now, even years later, it's remembered as one of the world's, like I said, most watched things. There's a movie out about it. I think it's called Trainwreck. I can't remember. I might get to that in a minute. I think it was called Trainwreck. But anyway, it's where this empty balloon floats across Colorado. This is a true story. No matter how much light I'm making out of it years later, now it is a true story. It really, truly happened. Okay, in Colorado, in the Colorado skies. So, I wonder, since they said this was a case to be studied, I wonder if Chris and Katie watched this story unfold, especially Chris, saying that Sebastian's case is a case that will be studied for years to come and be looked at for years to come. Chris, truth, why did you say that? I mean, kids go missing every day. Why did you say that? Why would you think that? Somebody been watching the Balloon Boy, I think. I'm just saying. Now, Falcon, the Balloon Boy, Falcon lives in Florida with his family. I don't know what family. I don't know if it's his mom and dad. I would have got rid of them people, honey. I'd have got rid of my mommy and daddy. I don't know if it's his brothers. I don't know if it's his new wife. I don't know if his children. I don't know who it is. But he lives in Florida. Lord, we don't need that here, honey, but we got him somewhere here. I don't know where. I don't know where. Maybe I'll go try to find him, do an interview. Just saying. No, just kidding. I don't know. I don't know where he's at, but he's in Florida. And that was as of this month, 2025. He's about 22 years old now. 22 years old. Listen, I bet that still haunts him. I bet that gives him nightmares. I bet that still haunts him to this day. You know, he watches everything. That's right. He mentions from these cases. He sure does, Mohawk. But I bet that still haunts this little boy to this day. He's 22 now. He's still little to me, but he's 22, young man. So what is he doing now? Y'all get this. What is he doing now? He runs a tiny home business. It's called Craftsman Tiny Homes. See, it wouldn't be hard to find him here in Florida. But anyway, the business is called Craftsman Tiny Homes. That's not doxing him. Hell, it's his business. It's out there. Y'all go buy you a tiny home. Smiley don't care. Buy me one while you're at it. We'll throw it up out here in my backyard, okay? We don't care. We don't care. Hey, I'm promoting your business, Bloom boy. It wasn't your fault, baby cakes. Send those Smiley, pull up. Bring me a tiny home. I need a tiny home. I got use for it. Okay. I do. I got use for it. So let's just promote him a little bit and promote his business because that's what we're doing. It's called Craftsman Tiny Homes. And that's where he and his brothers build small houses. You know, those little tiny homes that look like real houses. They're nice. They are nice. And in some documents, it says, he kind of stays away from social media and stuff like that now. But they used to help with construction. He used to help with construction, building projects. Go figure. Building projects, and shares those projects and stuff like that on Instagram and Facebook and some platforms. But I bet you one thing. I bet you he's not constructing no balloons. I bet you that balloon's done popped. That balloon's done popped. Some people are scared of clowns. I bet he's scared of balloons. Pop. However, though, earlier on, he and his brothers. Now, this is what I want y'all to listen to. This is what earlier on, he and his brothers performed this heavy metal. I told y'all yesterday I can't stand heavy metal. So I didn't even go listen to it. I just read the lyrics, and I'm going to read them to you. He and his brothers performed in a heavy metal band. They made it themselves. They were called the Haney Boys. Okay? And they released a song. Guess what the song was? The song was called Bloom Boy No Hoax. I shit you not. I shit you not. So go bang your head on that one, because that to me is crazy. The metal. Oh, Bloom Boy, no hoax. I don't know. That's what that shit sounds like to me. I don't know. But I'm going to read the lyrics to this. And these brothers wrote this and they sang it. God, imagine singing these words I'm fixing to tell you in heavy metal. Oh my God, I just want to pop my own eardrums, honestly. I really do. I can't imagine it. Can't imagine it. But the lyrics, they were performed by the Haney Boys in 2014. And they're logo or their music thing was Henny Boys, Boyz BMI. And, have you ever had one of those days where everything went wrong and shit hits the fan? Who the hell is Wolf? My life had changed after that day. Saucer meant for good. Asian reporter said to me, show me for my show. We told the truth. The sheriff lied. Balloon boy, no hoax. Balloon boy, no hoax. Verse 2. Threatened to deport my mother. My dad copped a plea. I'm not who you think I am. I am the Falcon. Balloon boy, no hoax. Balloon boy, no hoax. You can't take me down. Higher and higher it flew. Floating far away, I'm stronger. You can suck my ass. What? Balloon boy, no hoax. Balloon boy, no hoax. Now, that's their song. That's their song. It's streaming now. Good God Almighty. See, they're making money off of that. They're making money off of that. They're still getting people, they get royalties. You get royalties for that stuff. They're making money off this stuff, no matter what. But now Falcon says much of what he remembers about the 2009 balloon event comes from footage and media and stuff like that rather than his own memory. I imagine because he was locked away in the attic, for God's sakes, that he don't remember a lot of it. He had to watch the news and all the things when he was growing up. So in the song, they are claiming it was not that's what they're saying in the song, honey. Just look up them lyrics. I swear that's what they're saying. I wouldn't advise you to listen to it. I tried to listen to 2 or 3 seconds of it. I cannot stand metal, but I couldn't even do it for y'all. I just could not. Honey, y'all couldn't pay me to listen to it. I don't know what the hell them head banging kids was doing in 2014. It didn't even make no sense. But they got a new documentary out, and it's called Trainwreck Balloon Boy. And it revisits the hoax and the aftermath in this one video, in this one movie. So it's a newer one. It's a newer version, and it revisits all the other things that happened before, after, and all that stuff. So that's probably the one to watch. It's called Train Boy. Hold on. Somebody's calling. God, I'm so tired of that. It's called Train Boy. Let's see. Trainwreck. Trainwreck Balloon Boy. The Balloon Boy. And, you can find that. They say it's on Netflix. I don't know if it is or not. I just don't know. But I bet it would be interesting to watch. It revisits the hoax, its aftermath, and the articles in it note that the narrative and when it's shifting and all that stuff. It's just about the stunt and about what it says about fame, the media, the family. It also mentions, get this, that there was handwritten notes found later on that suggests the balloon incident was planned like well in advance. I'm talking like months and months and months in advance. And I think Falcon even agreed to that later. I'm not sure. But supporting the idea that the stunt was premeditated is what he did say for sure. He told people, I think it was in 2025, just recently, like September, like maybe September, August, September. Most of the stuff he said he remembers is just from the videos again and stuff he watched on TV, like I told you earlier. It was all kind of foggy. That was his words. It was all kind of foggy. He expresses surprise on how big the story became. I don't. It was a damn national hoax. But okay. Again, he just is, that's that mind of a 22-year-old boy. Okay, a kid, still a young man, in my opinion. He expresses surprise at that, how big it got, because he said it got so big. And today, he and his brothers just run this tiny home building business in Florida, and they document their work on social media with the tiny homes and stuff like that. So they are on social media. And listen to this, y'all. He joked that given the track record, hiding in small spaces, building tiny homes made sense for him. So that was a joke he cracked. Since he hid in small places, he just thought he would get in the building business of building tiny homes. Tiny homes. Lord, y'all, you can't make this stuff up. So these tiny homes, though, he builds, it runs about, they can run anywhere from 25,000 to 79,000, depending on one location, depending on what type you get. But he must be doing pretty good. He's not doing bad for himself. You know, he's really not doing bad for himself. Now in 2019, the mom, I guess she spoke with a journalist, and he published those handwritten notes. I think her name was Mia or something like that, Haney. But anyway, to their attorney, which detailed timelines and described how the family planned this, how long they planned it, the balloon stunt, and how Falcon might hide and all that kind of stuff. So I'm sure they did. They probably sold those letters. Actually, they probably sold those letters, in my opinion. The article quoted that Falcon in 2019 said he was no longer defied by the incident, and he shouldn't be. He shouldn't be. It wasn't his fault. He was just a kid. It wasn't his fault. We can make light of it and all that, but it was not his fault. Okay? And he outed him. I love it. He outed him. He said, I was 6 years old and I was a completely different person then, now than I was then. Of course he was. He was a child. He was a child. He has nothing to, fear about that. So he feels that things were blown way out of proportion by adults, by the media, by his family, based on him being 6 years old, right? So he tries to clearly distance himself, as much as he can from being the balloon boy. And I don't blame him. I really don't blame him. He views that as a past role and not his identity now. He seems open to seeing the complexity, and he said the events were dramatic, I'm sure they were. Being a 6-year-old child, that could kind of be scary. All the news media, all those people, and then your parents trying to get you to lie, 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 lie. He was 6, people. 6. But it's, he seems open to, I guess he will talk about it some, but he tries to stay away from it. He tries to keep it out of the media. His experience, they said, filtered through is through time and the media and family and storytelling, because again, he was a child and he don't remember all of it. Mohawk said, if you would figure that the police would have got these letters as evidence. Yeah, I would have thought so. I would have. I would have thought so at that time. Hell, she probably had them hid in the attic somewhere up in a hole, rat hole. When you rat hole money, I love rat hole money. We call it rat hole and money, hiding money. She probably had them letters up there, rat holing them somewhere. Remember the cartoon? Yes, absolutely. I do. Absolutely. Well, let's watch this. Hold on a minute. Let's go back. Go to this channel because I watched this the other day. It was really Larry King, but this is what it's named now. And I guess somebody was setting in for Larry King at the time. But this is the channel that it's on. They have a lot of good stuff, evidently. This is where I found this when I was looking for it. And, hold on. Let me put a little bit of music on this because I don't know. These are like Larry King and stuff, even though he's no longer with us, such old channels and stuff like that. I'm just going to put a little music on just because. Hold on. I'll put it down as low as I can. I put it down because that way, these are hard to find, these videos on this. But hold on just a minute. Now let me share this with y'all. I want y'all to listen to this interview.
That little falcon is just fine, because so many of us all over the country today were deeply worried that he was stuck in that balloon. That balloon was out of control, simply flying around the skies of Colorado for a couple hours. Fortunately, he was hiding out in the garage attic the whole time in a box. Richard, walk us through, slowly but surely, what exactly happened to Falcon today and how all of this got so way out of control.
Okay. Yeah. So we were setting up our family experiment for my wife and I's anniversary. It's a good excuse. And anyway, the kids helped actually construct the saucer-looking craft. We had glued panels of plastic, wood, and they helped paint it. The experiment was for one of our family inventions, and we're trying to build a craft to where people can no longer drive in their cars, just kind of elevate and float to work at 50 to 100 feet off the ground.
And you were doing this in your back? You were doing this in your backyard?
That's correct. Yeah, we did this in our backyard. And anyway, so we started inflating it with helium, which keeps it buoyant, so that we could conduct the high voltage experiments. The outer skin of this thing had aluminum foil on it for a positive charge and a negative charge, and you ignite this thing and it kind of gets you to go left and right, horizontal. But I explained this all to the kids. They actually taped on the high voltage signs earlier, so they knew it was high voltage and they can't touch it.
Was the balloon tethered to the ground?
Well, that's kind of questionable. Yeah, it's supposed to be tethered. It was. I saw the tethers. I didn't inspect the tethers. My wife actually tied him down. She said she tied him, so I had to, go by what she said. But it's supposed to be tethered to where it would levitate 20 feet up. And we explained to the kids that that's what was going to take place.
So the three little boys were playing with this balloon on the ground. Then what happened?
Well, as we were inflating it, they were holding it to make sure, it didn't get too windy. But after we had inflated it to a particular level, I went to go turn the high voltage timer on. It's an egg timer. And it would emit 1 million volts every 5 minutes for 1 minute. But I thought, I could have swore he was standing right next to me. But I went to go pull the release lever.
You're talking about Falcon.
Go ahead.
You're talking about Falcon, which
Yes.
you thought was standing next to you. Go ahead.
Yes, that's correct. So I went to go pull the release lever, and we were pretty confident, everything is going to go well. And then all of a sudden the tether starts dangling, and it took off. So, I kind of freaked out a little bit. And I asked my wife what happened with the tether, I didn't say it like that. We were kind of yelling. And she said she had tied it, but immediately Bradford was trying to get my attention, and I didn't quite take it all in at that moment. But finally he said, I kind of took to heart what he was saying. He said Falcon was inside the flying saucer. And
let me stop you for a moment there. And I don't know if Bradford can hear me, but maybe you can have him explain, why did he think that Falcon, Bradford is 10 years old, Falcon is 6 years old. Why did he think Falcon was inside that balloon?
Okay, he's asking you a question, Bradford. He wants to know, why did you think Falcon was inside the balloon?
Falcon went up to me. I got this all on camera. Falcon went up to me and was like this.
You okay?
I'm gonna go sneak in the flying saucer, and I saw him go in. But I didn't see him go in the base.
So Bradford says he thought he saw Falcon go into the balloon. Is that right?
Right, that's correct.
But he really did ask Falcon, because he can't hear me either. Ask Falcon where he was. Where did he disappear as all of you saw this balloon all of a sudden take off?
Falcon, he's asking you a question. He wants to know, where were you when the craft took off? Where were you at?
I was in the attic, and the reason why I went up there, my dad yelled at me. He didn't want me to play in the flying saucer.
I couldn't exactly understand what he was saying, Richard. What was he saying?
He said that he was hiding in the attic because I had yelled at him earlier for playing in the flying saucer. And he tends,
Go ahead.
Well, he tends to kind of hang at the back of the line if he's scolded. He kind of goes to his own room, kind of a thing, if he gets reprimanded.
So earlier in the day, or just a little while before this, you had scolded him, and as a result of that, he ran into the garage attic, and he actually hid inside a box. Is that right?
Well, I didn't know exactly where he had hid until I opened the door, and I guess people were shooting a camera, and he was showing them how he got in, and I never knew, of course, he had a hiding place like that. I knew about a hiding place outside.
Was there an area inside that balloon where somebody could go in? Was there an area that was, that would have worked if he had gone into the bottom of that basket or whatever it is at the bottom of that balloon?
Yeah, the area is about 16 inches high by 48 inches across, so there's plenty of room. You could probably fit 3 kids in that thing.
And is there a door in the bottom? Is that how do you get in there?
Yeah, there is a little cardboard door that I would access the high voltage equipment, and also access the valve to inflate the actual craft.
All right, so Mayumi, you're the mom. Pick up the story. All of a sudden, you're in the backyard. You have this balloon. It takes off. It's supposed to be tethered to the ground. It takes off. Your 10-year-old son, Bradford, says that Falcon, the 6-year-old, is inside that basket at the bottom of the balloon, and you see it taking off for the sky. Mayumi, what did you say? What did you do?
We just got surprised. The balloon, the craft kept going up and supposed to stay 20 feet above the ground. And that surprised us first. And Richard and I got argue with, I'm supposed to tide, and it was not done correctly. And we are so involved, and we forget about where the craft went. And meanwhile, Bravo kept saying, Falcon's inside of it. Falcon's inside of it. And we couldn't hear first. And later on, we realized, what? And that's the moment we realized what's happening.
And you believed that Falcon was inside that balloon. You didn't know that earlier he had run into the garage, was hiding out into the attic because he got into a little dispute with his dad earlier in the day. So what did you do at that point, Richard? You're a scientist. You understand the science of all of this. Did you believe that balloon could take off with what, a 40 or 50 pound little boy in that basket?
Yeah, we had, we calculated roughly, how much it could possibly hold. And so when the reality that part of it had set in, it's like, oh my gosh, he could really be in this thing. And so I had to take Bradford serious because the clock was ticking. So once that set in place and I'm watching this thing drift away, I asked Brad, I put a ladder against the roof. I said, Brad, could you jump on the roof and find out, which direction it's going? We got to tell somebody. So I had to call the FAA. I'm thinking, well, somebody's going to follow it. I'm hoping they can pick it up on radar. My other concern was there's an airport nearby, and I didn't want, planes running into it, especially if he is inside.
Did you call 911 too?
Yeah, I called the FAA first, but they said call 911. And at first I was kind of stunned because why would I call them? That's police and fire, And anyway, so I called 911. They stayed on the phone with me. They were nice. And I gave them all the information.
And were you calm? Were you freaking out? I can only imagine what you must have been going through. You believe your son was inside that balloon, and could you even see the balloon at that point, or was it long gone?
By the time I had gotten on the phone, the boys said that they couldn't see but a speck after that. So at that point, it's out of my sight.
You couldn't see it, and so you're talking to 911. You're telling them this balloon has just taken off. Your son, you thought, was inside. Did you know for sure, or did you believe for sure, or did you think possibly little Falcon could be inside the house or someplace else?
Well, after we had yelled his name several times, running around for a couple of minutes, I'm guessing, maybe 5-7 minutes, we're running around. It started building on us that, my gosh, he's really inside. And I got no reason to doubt Bradford at that point. But to get verification later on, we looked at some video footage that Bradford has shot. Falcon said he's going to sneak inside. So at that point, we had believed 100% that he was on board.
Y'all, I'm sorry, that had me cracking up. Just to hear that now, that is crazy. Y'all seen him tell that little boy, shh, like don't say nothing. Here we go with that shh, silence, shh. Jesus. So there's more. There's one interview. I don't know where it's at, but the little boy said that they did it for, you said we did it for the show. Jesus, man. I am telling you what, they were busted out of the mouths of babes. They're not gonna do it. It was, and how are you gonna send them on top of the roof? Look, the dude said, I told my son to get on top of the roof and see if, well, maybe we better call somebody. Now, this is the time you really better call somebody if your kid is really, 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 really in a balloon, in a runaway balloon. Jesus. I can't with these people. I can't. But yeah, that happened in 2009. It is a true story. And a lot of people remember it, a lot of people don't. But there are things in it that I mentioned earlier, like this will be studied for a long time. It just triggered my memory. And let's see, there was something else, but I don't know, man. You go back and you look at this stuff and you go, are you serious? Did this really happen? But yeah, I was there. I watched it on TV just like everybody else did. It really did happen. It really, truly did happen. And it's a true story. But hey, y'all go buy your little tiny houses from don't call him Balloon Boy now. His name is Falcon. Lady Q, you said you looked it up and found it. What part of Florida are they in? Can you tell me that? What do you know? I mean, do you remember? You don't have to go look it up. But anyway, honey, you can pull one up to my house anytime you want to. I will advertise you. I will talk about you. I will do whatever you want, and I'll call you Falcon. I promise. I won't call you Balloon Boy. I'll just talk to you. It didn't say that. Well, we might have to do a little research on that. Just saying. Oh, y'all, I thought I would give y'all a little light one. Although it was not funny then, it is kind of funny now, you have to admit. I think the most funniest part is the little child outing them. But I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair that the dad got more time in jail than the mom did. I really don't. I don't think that was fair at all. But anyway, well, I'm going to get off of here, and I will see y'all again. I'll see you in the streets, YouTube streets, that is. And I love you, and I hope I made you smile. I'll see you in a bit. Bye.